U.S. envoy to China says there's no reason for the U.S. to help China's military. Drawing big lessons from the Ukraine war, U.S. wants to cooperate with Taiwan to develop weapons. Signs of thaw. Blinken hopes to reschedule China trip this year to start regular dialogue. Chinese parents flock to Zibo outdoor barbecue capital to find their kidnapped children.
The U.S. ambassador to China, Nicholas Burns, said technology restrictions against the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, are needed to avoid strengthening its military. He made the remarks during an outline talk with the Stimson Center, a think tank based in Washington, on Monday, May 1st. Burns said that the U.S. was not seeking to separate its economy from China's, but it had to take some measures to protect its national security interests. He cited an example that the U.S. had to impose sweeping restrictions on exports of semiconductors to China in October because otherwise it could strengthen China's military and intelligence capabilities. Burns noted, "It could strengthen the military and intelligence communities of China, and there's no reason in the world why the United States would want to do that, given the fact that we're in a major competition with China." He revealed that the U.S. government had been transparent with American businesses in China about regulations that restrict trade in advanced technology relating to national security. Burns said, "But there are certain areas in these advanced technology fields where we're going to be putting up, we've already announced, some restrictive measures because that's clearly in the national security interest in the United States." In recent years, under Chinese leader Xi Jinping, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, has embarked on an aggressive military modernization, which includes upgrading its nuclear weapon arsenal. It is also developing new types of missiles, such as hypersonic glide vehicles that can evade missile defenses. The relationship between Washington and Beijing has deteriorated significantly over the past few years. The two countries have clashed over issues such as trade, human rights, and the origins of the COVID pandemic. Tensions soared after a high-profile visit by former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to Taiwan last year and following a Chinese spy balloon infiltrating the U.S. sky earlier this year, leading Blinken to call off his planned visit to China. Speaking at the Taiwan U.S. Defense Industry Forum on May 3rd, U.S.-Taiwan Business Council USTBC President Rupert Hammond Chambers said the partnership between Taiwan and the U.S. defense industries is built on trust and partnership. Hammond Chambers said in his opening remarks that the U.S. and Taiwan must act quickly to seize partnership opportunities. According to Taiwan News, he emphasized that these partnerships must be successful for our countries to have the potential to benefit the world as a whole. Shared with Taiwan News, Hammond Chambers said that the big lesson from the Ukraine war is that America's defense industry should not produce the weapons that countries need to defend themselves. Instead of that, the weapons need to be manufactured based on cooperation. He said, "We are here to engage with the Taiwan domestic defense industry and understand what expansion looks like in respect to Taiwan's domestic needs, but also in respect to America's domestic needs and what Taiwan can do to help America." The USTBC president added, "There's a sense of urgency in the U.S. broadly about a range of security issues, of which Taiwan is one." Meanwhile, former Commanding General of U.S. Marine Forces Pacific, Stephen Rutter, who led the delegation of 25 American defense industry representatives visiting Taiwan, said, "We are committed to helping Taiwan defend itself because we, with other like-minded partners in the area, want peace and security." The Taiwan U.S. Defense Industry Forum occurs amid the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, constantly sending aircraft and warships to harass the airspace and waters around Taiwan, especially when U.S. delegations visit the island. Taiwan News reported that from 6 a.m. on May 2nd to 6 a.m. on May 3rd, Taiwan's Ministry of National Defense, MND, tracked 27 Chinese military aircraft and 7 naval vessels operating around Taiwan. The number of times the CCP violated Taiwan's air defense identification zone by military aircraft in April increased by more than 112% compared to March. The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said he hoped to reschedule a trip to China sometime this year and reestablish regular communication with Beijing. In an interview with the Washington Post on May 3rd, Blinken said that there was no secret about America competing with China. However, he added, the U.S. has a strong interest in trying to make sure that the competition doesn't veer into conflict. It is also important for the two countries to reestablish regular lines of communication at all levels and across our government. Blinken stated, "We need to have a floor under this relationship. We need to have some guardrails on it, and the way we do that is through engagement." According to VOA, Blinken's remarks reflect what experts think as signs of a thaw in the relations between two nations, including a recent high-level meeting between American and Chinese officials in Beijing, as well as the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's intention to start inspections in China as soon as this summer. State Department Deputy Spokesperson Patel told reporters that he would not offer a moment in time, metric, or assessment regarding the timing of Blinken's visit to China. On May 2nd, U.S. Ambassador to China Nicholas Burns expressed frustration at the lack of access and communication back and forth to high-level Chinese officials. Burns said, "I think access for all of us in the U.S. government, that includes members of our cabinet, has really ebbed and flowed over the last year. We are ready to talk," Burns added. "What we really need is a more broad-based engagement at the cabinet level, and the United States is ready for that." The Zibo outdoor barbecue capital in Shandong province has recently become famous on the Chinese internet, also attracting many people for its delicious food. A large number of parents of kidnapped children also congregate there, searching for their children. Many netizens are concerned the missing children have been abducted and their organs harvested. A video shows many parents of abducted children holding up boards with information about their missing children. Another video on April 23rd shows the kind owner of a barbecue restaurant in Zibo holding a microphone, pointing at the poor parents looking for their children and calling out, "Please help relay the information. As long as you help them relay the information on Douyin, post a status. You can buy a grilled skewer and get another one for free." Zibo News recently published an article about a father who has been looking for his son for the past 28 years. He said, "My son's name is Liang Jihui. He is 31 years old this year. He loves eating barbecue. Recently, Zibo barbecue has been very popular. He may notice it, so I hope to find him here." In the past 28 years, he and his wife have traveled to more than 20 cities to look for their son. However, their monthly income is only $434. They can only take turns to find him. The father often sleeps in the streets when searching. He tends to go to crowded places to spread the information, but they haven't found any information about him yet. On April 28th, a video recorded a man holding a board crying on the Zibo streets, attracting attention. He has been everywhere looking for his child for over 14 years, but was aggressively chased away by security guards that day. He felt helpless, knelt down, and burst into tears. Vision Times cited many netizens' comments, "Where are the laws in this country? There are so many missing people every year, and national cameras can't record anything? Sadly speaking, China is the largest organ farm on Earth." A netizen named AN94 said, "There are two destinations. One is being taken to a remote mountainous area by the Chinese Communist Party, CCP's human traffickers, to be someone's wife. The other is being killed by CCP cadres on organ trafficking demand. The victims' corpses will be hollowed out and thrown into the wilderness or burned directly. Sometimes CCP senior officials order the police to hide the crime. That is the truth of the mass abduction incidents in this country." The account Red Prinny said, "China is not an economic power nor a military power, but a power that threatens its neighbors, a power that does not keep its word. An isolated power that suppresses human rights, exploits its citizens, and specializes in human trafficking." The account DZ said, "What Chinese person would brazenly say China is the safest country in the world? Which country has so many children being trafficked? China is the country with the highest density of cameras in the world, but they are only used to monitor people, not catch traffickers."